Jordan Anthony, 21 years old, a kid from Mississippi who started sprinting for giggles. He joined Lyles' own training group, learned from him every day, then beat him in front of the whole country and took his belt. And things only got more awkward from there. Jordan Anthony was born on June 29, 2004, in California. He grew up in Tylertown, Mississippi, a small town where football was not just a sport but a way of life. Anthony was a wide receiver. That was the plan. That was the dream. He wanted a Heisman Trophy, not a starting block. Track and field was an afterthought. He started doing it in high school because football coaches told him it might help him run better routes. His words, not a headline, "I really just did it for giggles and networking because you meet a lot of new people in track and field." That was the beginning. Giggles. Networking. Nothing more. But the Times told a different story from the start. At 17, he swept the 100 and 200 meters at the Mississippi Class 3A State Championships and won the national under-20 200-meter title at the USA Outdoor Championships in Eugene, all while still believing football was his future. Then came a setback during his first football season at the University of Kentucky. But while recovering and transitioning back to sports, he stepped onto the indoor track and eventually ran sub-6.6 seconds in the 60 meters. Even while juggling two demanding sports, he was already that fast. He transferred to Texas A&M, then to Arkansas. At each stop, he was balancing both, catching passes and running sprints. When football ended in the winter, sprint training began, months after his track teammates had already started their dedicated programs. The 2025 season erased any confusion about which sport owned him. Anthony won the NCAA Indoor Championship in the 60 meters. He won the NCAA Outdoor Championship in the 100 meters, running 10.07 seconds in Eugene. He swept SEC titles in a single outdoor season. In May, at the NCAA West qualifier, he ran a wind-aided 9.75 seconds in the 100, tying the second fastest collegiate mark in history under all conditions. In December, he won the Bowerman Award, the highest individual honor in collegiate track and field, becoming the first dual-sport football player ever to claim it. He said, "If you would have told me years ago that I would be here one day, I would have laughed in your face and kept moving." He signed with Adidas and turned professional. Then he did something that would create a very specific, very public problem. He joined Noah Lyles' training group at Pure Athletics in Claremont, Florida. To understand the awkwardness of what followed, you need to understand who Noah Lyles is. Lyles is 28 years old. He won Olympic gold in the 100 meters at the Paris 2024 Games, running 9.79 seconds. He is a four-time world champion in the 200 meters, tying Usain Bolt for consecutive world titles at that distance. He holds the American record in the 200 meters at 19.31 seconds. He won bronze in the 200 in Paris. He is, by almost any measure, the most decorated active sprinter on the planet. And Lyles does not just win. He performs. He created a championship belt tradition, a mock boxing-style title he carries to meets and presents after victories. He cuts promos. He enters arenas from the stands, his belt, his kingdom. He had won the U.S. Indoor 60-meter title in 2024 with a personal best of 6.43 seconds. He walked into 2026 as the reigning Olympic champion, the face of American sprinting, and the man who ran the group Anthony had just joined. They trained together every day. They knew each other's habits, their reaction times, their weaknesses. That is the part that made what happened next so uncomfortable. Anthony opened the 2026 indoor season slowly. He finished third at the Millrose Games, running 6.64 seconds in the 60. His own training partner was out there performing while Anthony was still finding his footing as a professional. People online started saying he had fallen off before he even started. Then came February 13th, the Tyson Invitational in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Anthony ran 6.43 seconds in the 60 meters, tying Lyles' personal best and ranking him 10th fastest in the history of the event. He was suddenly the fastest man in the world over 60 meters in 2026. He later said those early challenges were what he needed. "Everybody said I fell off. Those two races did a lot to me. I needed a little bit of humbling to remember who I am, that dog mentality. 3 weeks later, both men showed up to the same race. The USATF Indoor Championships took place on March 1st, 2026. The 60-meter final lined up Trayvon Bromell, the 2016 World Indoor Champion, alongside Anthony and Lyles. This meet also served as the qualifier for the World Indoor Championships in Torun, Poland. Lyles had already told reporters he would not go to Poland regardless. His wedding to Jamaican sprinter Junelle Bromfield was scheduled for April, and Poland was too close to that date. So the prize was simply the U.S. title, and his training partner was standing in his way. Anthony crossed first, Bromell was second, Lyles was third. The Olympic champion finished behind his own student. What happened next set the tone for how both men have handled this rivalry ever since. Lyles walked over and handed Anthony the championship belt. Then he leaned in with a smile. "Look, man, you're just babysitting the belt for me. Make sure you pause it at night. It likes to have a bedtime story at 8 p.m. every night." Anthony responded with his own version of a press conference. He told reporters, "I looked to my right and my left, and I was like, I don't hear Noah. I don't see Trayvon. So I was like, it's over. GG's in the chat. New generation is taking over. Today was the day I had to give them their eviction notice. Take the bell home. Time for them to move out, find a new hobby." He also said this, "I enjoy training with Noah. It's a great mutual relationship between each other. Of course, we're going to talk smack. The sport is soft if we don't. So I'm bringing football mentality. He's just bringing old age right now." Lyles had said before the meet, "I have no doubt in Jordan. I watched him at the beginning of the year and I was like, well, I'm not going to indoors, so I guess he's winning." Anthony flew to Torun, Poland, for the World Athletics Indoor Championships. One day before competition, he dealt with a severe hematoma from a routine drug test blood draw. It was the kind of complication that would sideline most athletes, but he lined up anyway. He was already drawing crowds, with younger competitors asking him to sign their racing spikes mid-championship. On March 20th, Anthony won the 60-meter final in 6.41 seconds, tying the world lead for the year. He beat Olympic 100-meter silver medalist Kishane Thompson of Jamaica, who ran 6.45 seconds, and Bromell, who took bronze. Anthony became one of the youngest men ever to win the World Indoor 60-meter title, joining a list that includes Bromell, Justin Gatlin, and Lee McRae. His post-race energy told the whole story. It was just telling everybody to shut the F up. A lot of people thought I was going to come here and wet the bed. Back home in Florida, Lyles celebrated Anthony's victory on X. "Stop playing on this man. First year world champion." 3 weeks later at the Tom Jones Memorial, they didn't race directly. Lyles won the Elite 200, while Anthony ran alongside him on a world-class 4x100 relay. Same team, same group, same belt somewhere between them.